Welcome back, y'all, to another episode of Cast Me Outside with me, your host, Aaron Scholl. If this is your first time here, Cast Me Outside is my podcast, and not just functions as a video journal where I talk about my day. Other times we react to stuff, find people on the internet who are looking for advice and give them some advice. And sometimes we blow through some articles. I decided to load up the podcast because there's been a lot on my mind, and I will give the podcast a lot of props. At the beginning of this year, I was really consistent with the podcast, and I fell off. Surprise, surprise. But, there was like a lightness to the falling off. I felt like I was consistent and I talked a lot and I got a lot out of my head. And then there was just like a minute there where there wasn't much to say, or I didn't have a ton of thoughts racing in my head. And that being said, I can feel some of those like negative patterns coming into my mind. And you know what? I will like kind of try and articulate them because I think it's nice to like have the before and after, the contrast of okay, this was kind of my thoughts or lack of thoughts when I was present, and this is kind of my thoughts when I'm anxious and I'm not present. And what I've noticed is my thoughts when I'm anxious are a little bit more about other people. I don't know if it's like externalizing my negativity. So something like that. So something like that, where I'm just kind of like brooding on someone who hurt my feelings or did something that annoyed me, or I'm having like imaginary conversations, just in my head, having like entire full blown conversations, and it's interesting, and they're never like positive conversations, never like rehearsing. It's like sometimes it is positive conversations, but the positive ones are just completely fictional, and then the negative ones are like re approaching other conversations throughout the day. And it's just such a waste of time. This self internal dialogue. I was gonna say self dialogue, or self talk, but I was gonna say self dialogue. Internal dialogue, self talk. It's a double edged sword. Kind of my epiphany in the beginning of the year was thinking is dumb. Straight people are gay. Oh, sorry, that's like an inside joke with stand-up comedy. There's a couple different bits that I've heard where people are just like, it's actually gay being straight, and then they say funny things that are sort of make that statement true, but not really. Okay, I digress. Let's try and get back on topic. Oh man, I lost it. Oh, thinking is dumb. Yes, thinking is dumb. It's dumb if you want to be happy. It's dumb if you want to get anything done. Like maybe, at least my type of thinking is dumb. I do dumb thinking. Where it's like I said, it's like this weird internal monologue that's fictional conversations. So is this a fictional conversation? It's definitely a one-sided conversation, unless you comment. Then it's 1.5 sided. Yeah, the being in your head as kind of the death nail to all vibes. I don't know why it is, but I feel it intuitively and I feel like I've lived it. So I've got to get back on my mindfulness hustle. And you know what? There was really just one mindfulness thing that I was doing consistently that was showing me the best results. Okay, I'll say there's really two mindfulness things that I do, but one that like you actually have to kind of step away and take a moment to do this. And I talk about it all the time, and I'm going to keep talking about it. And hopefully, if I talk about it enough, I'll get back to doing it because I had like a hot streak where I did it like maybe 10 days in a row. And it's called non sleep deep rest, or it's also known as yoga nidra. It's like mind yoga. It's like mind yoga where instead of like moving your body, you just think about your body. and kind of put your attention on certain body parts. I call it a body scan. Like you just literally just think right shoulder, right elbow, and then you close your mind and you breathe and you relax. And there can be like more guided meditation versions of it where you're, in some place in your mind, usually out in nature, and that's fun. I wonder what the line is between like yoga nidra and guided meditation. I would say yoga nidra focuses more on the body, like the literal body, being present in the body, where guided meditation can be a little bit more woo woo. Oh, I'm out in space. I'm out in space. I'm out in some fantastical environment. Inside my mind, I'm out in the middle of space. Oh, sorry, I was fucking around with ChatGPT. Still trying to use ChatGPT more and more. It is a little lame. It does make me feel like there's like a serendipity that's lost. Just because you can tell like there's like a bias. You can like is the information you get from ChatGPT. I think it depends on what you're looking for. Because I was like asking it to like search the internet for articles under certain themes, and just nice. And we'll talk about them. Some of them are interesting. It took me a couple tries to kind of get the system right, so it feels good to like have an idea that you want to use ChatGPT for, and then ChatGPT for. Okay. Well, you use that. It's good to have an idea that you think, oh, this can help with, and it's like, okay, your first approach doesn't give you the right answer. You start tweaking, and then you start realizing, and then you refine it, and then you're like, okay, this is serviceable. But the first responses it was giving me was like so lame. It was just about stuff that I guess was really out of my wheelhouse. It was about like Netflix shows and movies, like really like modern Netflix shows and movies that just I had no motivation to talk about. And I was using it to help me diagnose my car because the daytime running lights, there's an LED strip on the top of that. It doesn't work. It doesn't work as daytime running lights, and it's really disappointing because I want everything in that car to work well, and I want to be a good steward of the car. I want to bring some king energy to the car. And it's been on my list to wash it, and I haven't washed it. And I've known that this headlight's been out for years. And it's not really a headlight. It's the daytime light. It's not a headlight that I use during the day. Like if I were to turn on the light, it will turn on that unit. So it's just kind of whack. That in this one kind of particular scenario that you don't really need to, like you're not going to get pulled over for having that light out during the day. But I don't know. I'm like, given your luck, I could see someone actually saying, hey, because I've had normal people be like, hey, that one light's out. And then if it's night, I'll turn on the light and it fixes it. And they're like, and I'm like, is it good now? And they're like, yeah. And if it's the daytime, they're like, hey, that light's out. I'm like, okay, thank you. So I used to just drive around with my lights on all the time. I don't know. Is there a con to doing that? Maybe the con would be being more noticeable, or just being like, that's not really a con if you're like operating a vehicle. You want to be noticeable, but just where you want like a little bit of inconspicuousness or to blend in, then it would be a con. But yeah, is there a con to having your car lights on, the headlights, just the entire day? And let me know. I want to know. But yeah, ChatGPT gave me a couple like things to troubleshoot, and it was a new experience with my car. I opened up the fuse box. There's a fuse box under the hood, and there's a fuse box like under the steering wheel essentially. I flipped a couple fuses around just to see if it was a fuse issue. It was not. And then I went and I plugged and unplugged that unit, actually in the hood. So then I opened up the hood and just made sure the connection was good. I don't know if it's I haven't ruled out completely that it's a connection problem, but it's not like the main connector problem because I plugged and unplugged that. So it's probably like either the wiring or the module itself, and it's just they're freaking LEDs. To fix it, you need a certain level of handiness, and there's nobody. No, it seems like no one on the internet who wants to make a video about this problem has this problem. But it felt good to get out there and switch a couple fuses around and try and freaking fix this. Because, like I said, it's been a problem for years. And it was hot, dude. It was like 96 degrees. And I was dripping sweat. Did not feel good. It's hard to like function and think in the heat. There's some I might be slowly becoming like I don't know if I'd rather be extremely cold, but I'd rather it be like 30 than 100. I don't know, that's a bold statement. Which extreme do you like more? I like the perfect room temperature. The temperature of this room. It's called room temperature. Is there anything else that's like room temperature? Like as like a concept? There's I don't know. In my mind, like there could be something funny about room temperature. But yeah, and then there's another light out on my car, like the very bottom light. So I should order the freaking part, and I should maybe. I don't know if I would. I don't know if this makes any sense. I should go to AutoZone, have them look up the correct part, order the part on Amazon, because AutoZone is a complete rip off. I'm sorry. I feel like $30 lights are $60 at AutoZone. Like $30 Amazon lights are $60 at AutoZone. There should just be car stores because cars are complex and pivotal or like foundational to a lot of cultures in America. Maybe every culture in America to some extent. I was going to say except the Amish, but them having to deal with other people's cars, it's definitely they're definitely not mentioning cars. And you need to be able to have a physical place besides a garage. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, you need to have a physical place besides like a garage where you can talk to people about cars. It's like kind of like going to like a guru or like kind of going to the Apple store. That seems like less of a thing. I guess all stores are less of a thing. I don't know. I'm having a bunch of thoughts. It's because I'm not out in stores that I think that we can get off the car talk. I am gonna be able to fix the things that I can fix on my car, and then I might have to like. See, I don't want to pay hundreds of dollars, but it would be nice. Take it to someplace, get a quote. I mean, I guess there's no harm in that. I can take it to the dealership, say, hey, give me a quote. And if it's more than $200, I'll be like, I don't know. Let me think about it. Let me shop it around. Yeah, shopping around. I mean, I do that to the extent that it's like convenient, but returning things, I don't return things. I'm not good at it. I'm not good at returning things. I'm not good at using gift cards. Two things I'm not good at. So if you ever gift me a gift card, I'm sorry. I will want with every fiber of my being to use that gift card. Will I ever remember it and do it? You have to get me a gift card and schedule it. Because if you schedule something, I'll show up to it. That I'm good at. I just think of two examples. Like I got a gift card to a toy store. Never went. Got a gift card to like a float tank. Never went. I think I got a gift card somewhere else. But those two weigh surprisingly heavy on my conscience. Should just try and release that. Go to therapy. Hey, you need to go to therapy. You can't use a gift card. You find yourself habitually disrespecting people's gifts that they give you by not using them and letting them go to waste. You need to go to therapy. I think the one place closed and the other place was like adjacent to my girlfriend or my ex. Yikes. So probably won't be willfully throwing myself in that fire. Even though I will say I did run into someone from her circle. I ran into a couple people from her circle. I mean, I didn't get like, I maybe got like a little bit of like awe vibes from the girl. And then the other one was a guy, and it wasn't a bad vibe. I don't know, but forgive me. I definitely communicated for them, but actually, I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna stop saying I don't know. But yeah, forgive me if I'm not like super super chatty, but I'll just like I'd like to push myself to be as cordial and chill and nonchalant as possible and comfortable. But I was thinking about it, and I think I said something. I think I gave him a compliment. And yeah, it's definitely a waste of time to one thing about it. So I haven't really thought about it until I brought it up. But what I kind of did to like bring myself back to like reality was I was like, this person invited me over to their house. We've done a handful of things together. They invited me to their house. We've eaten food together. Like, all in all, they were welcoming, chill, cool people. So I should be grateful that, I got to experience chill, cool people that were welcoming. Dang, how did we get here? How did we get here? I don't know. I'm going to have to watch the playback. Oh, and I'm like rambling. There's good stuff that I'd like to get to, and I might as well. I put in my 2 weeks notice, so I did have ChatGPT work it out. But again, I did 2 or 3 revisions, and it came through. I think, and basically, I told him the truth. It's like, listen, I'm trying to like kind of move and change my life like pretty intensely, or at least have like yeah, dude. I don't know. Like, it doesn't make sense to come back here because I keep thinking kind of like what's keeping me here. It's like an okay, like a well-paying job for me relative to all the other jobs. It was the best paying job I've had, and like I'm already here. That's like are the kind of things that are keeping me here. I am grateful for all the people in my life. Like I do feel like I have a bit of a life. I should probably try and get more friends outside of comedy, or even the friends in comedy. Sometimes I think of more as like peers. So maybe I should try and get like more friends. Period. Even in comedy, and not exclude those people. But still, those people are like my friends. A chunk of them, and they definitely restore my social battery. I just must suck at going out. I've got a lot of like reapproaching to do. Like, I think my heart's in the right spot, or like the goal is good goals, but maybe the approach it is a little too forced in some ways. I'm talking mainly about dating and stuff. Just hang out with your guy friends. You know what? I had like one bad approach, which I shouldn't like. I can tell I'm in a bad mood or I can tell I'm in like a vulnerable place because I'm like holding on to all of these like little negative things that if I was in a better spot, it would definitely be like, okay, I thought about that once. I kind of see what happened there, but ultimately I gotta chalk it up and move on. But I find just maybe going back 1 or 2 extra times, and I think that's maybe the anxiety. Maybe it's like the not having a place in society. Maybe that's it. That's like increased my anxiety since I put in the 2 weeks. I think that maybe has like made me more sensitive to things. And I think maybe it's because like, yeah, like I said, like there's not like a foundational status that I can kind of stand on and own. And maybe that's what I need to do. I need to like kind of ground myself in an identity. And it makes sense that I say this because that's how I feel, and that's what I'm talking about. But I can also feel the ADD or the ADHD and the like this kind of like franticness to grab onto something instead of grabbing onto the thing that I should grab onto because it's scary and it's hard, which is focusing on creating good content and trying to build like kind of I hate to say it, but yeah, a brand and products I can like feel my mind being like, oh, we should start like doing this money making scheme. We should start doing this money making scheme. It's like that's still gonna that's just gonna keep the problem of not being focused on the thing that I'm focused on. But yeah, I put in my 2 weeks. Oh, and I had it all planned out. So I typed it up and I printed it. Because honestly, I was just gonna email them, and then I thought I've worked with these people for years. I should tell them to their face, or at least the manager to his face. So, but then I had an email scheduled to go out. Just kind of a ticking clock. Kind of like, okay, I'm not gonna have to like quit and then double and then send the email. So quit again. So it was whatever. Actually, it wasn't whatever. I wait till the end of the day. I wanted to tell my manager, hey, thank you. I've decided to pursue other things. Like really called just told him the truth, which is scary. It's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go out and try and move and try and end up, try and end up in Austin, and hopefully I can at least feel like at the very minimum I'm soon gonna position myself to get a lot better at comedy, and that'll be cool because the cap on the potential there is almost limitless. And so I was like, that's at the very bare minimum. Like, I'll be at least getting better. And I'll be getting better, and I'll probably be able to find a job with equal opportunities. I mean, maybe if I stayed at the place that I'm at now, maybe there was a spot to like actually get like a salaried position. But as far as kind of like medial labor, I can do that in a different city and have the opportunities to get better at something I'm really passionate about. So just kind of told him that in a more eloquent way. But boy, there is doubt. Okay, so let's get back to the story. Trying to finish this for the end of the episode. I have a couple minutes. So there's a short version of this story, and I told it this morning to somebody because I'm still kind of processing that. Because it's a little embarrassing, but not like now that I think I know my truth. I guess I know the truth. At least like the vibes I bring and like the energy I try to inject with the people I work with. And if it hits or misses, that's partially on me, but it's also partially on other people. I can't control other people's emotions. But basically, he's on the phone. I stayed. Everyone else left. It's about 20 minutes until 4 o'clock, so this email is going to hit. And I'm waiting there with my 2-week notice, just hoping he'll get off the phone. And I should have just been like, hey, can you talk for a minute? But I kind of waited and waited and waited. And eventually he got off the phone. But funny enough, he got right off the phone at 4 o'clock. Sat down at his computer for a second. Mind you, 4 o'clock is when this email goes out to him and 2 other people at my work. And he sits down at 4 o'clock. The email goes up. He springs right back up, comes over all happy to shake my hand. Basically, he saw the email, and it made him the happiest I've ever seen him. Ever. I've never seen him genuinely joyful. Then he comes out, hand out, ready to shake my hand. I saw your email. I just sort of oh yeah, okay, man. Just kind of have to tell them what they want to hear, and I guess they kind of know that. It does suck that's the agreement. It's listen, we'll be just barely serviceable. You'll be just barely serviceable, but we'll ask for critiques, and we'll ask oh, why, what made you make this decision? And you just can't tell them that. But yeah, that was it. That was another non-eloquent, an even less eloquent way to tell that story. Like I said, there's a 2-minute version of that story. That's probably a minute and a half actually, and it's actually kind of funny. It gets to the point. I was just anxiously waiting to give this guy his note, and he's like going through a bunch of personal stuff. So he's like just on the phone venting about his personal stuff, which I get it. Like, you probably do need to talk that stuff out. It's like a bunch of logistics and life changing circumstances. Like, his new normal is going to be way different from his day to like, his outside of work. At least until he settles in. But I'm just there listening to him talk about his personal life on the phone for 20 minutes. And then I know this email is going to hit. And then, I have a watch on. I know it just hits. He sits down at the computer and then pops up. And my 2 weeks notice made him the happiest I've ever seen him. I can feel myself losing the freshness. So I'm not going to belabor this part of the podcast anymore. I'm going to actually try and wrap it up. I think I'll wrap it up by saying this. That reaction was a good sign. It was a sign that I made the right decision. Isn't that funny that like now that's like, oh, you want me to leave? Now I want to stay out of spite. That's dumb. I would like to leave. And that person's reaction to me leaving is a sign that I'm not in the right spot. So it's exciting. It's scary. Good thing I got Cast Me Outside. We'll be back. I'm hoping to do more episodes. With guests. If you've listened to this, I appreciate the heck out of you. And all I gotta say is, it's been a lot of fun, but we're done. Gotta run. I thank you this time for your time. And until next time, keep on living and loving. Peace.